Hold on, first starts and ends, Jacob. And I think it's important to vent for these teams. And so Monday's show will be consistent to this. These two together between the Patriots and Cowboys. The Patriots, for the second straight week, have lost 30 points. 35 points, 4 to the Saints. The Saints, who offense has looked sometimes out of sorts, took you to the woodshed. And the Patriots could not. They had a field goal opportunity, missed the field goal. Now, everyone's saying, Mac Jones, Mac Jones. It's Mac Jones' fault. No, not entirely. Not entirely. Yes, it's his fault. Absolutely. He's not been good. He had another interception where he tries to throw the ball out of a sack and gets to be an interception and it's returned for a pick six. That is how the Saints scored their first points of the game. But your running game's not good. Your offensive line is banged up. You don't have wide receivers. There's no threat on this team. On and on and on and on. And on defense, they clearly missed Cordy. They have nothing back there. The corner, they had to trade for J.C. Jackson, and he was playing in this game. He didn't play great. He didn't play terrible. Your kicker is missing field goals. Your punter is not doing the best that he can be. The best at this point. He's still young. He had a couple missed punts, and like this happened over and over and over again. You couldn't score. So yes, you say, well, Bailey Zappi will save us. I don't know how. I don't know how. At what point do you just go and say this does not work with the weapons we have? I said this last week. You have Parker, you have Bourne, Douglas got hurt. Um, you got Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki, and then the two running backs. You can't win with that. Suggesting that your wide receivers are Devontae Parker and Kendrick Bourne. That you won't win games that way. You have to find a way to use them better. Or bring in wide receivers. Do something. This doesn't work. And finally, Belichick, being that 31-0, said, okay, Mac, don't go play. We're going to put Zappy in. And Zappy was fine, but you obviously knew you weren't going to win the game. So let's give him some trash reps and see what happens. And you end up losing the game 34-30. Or 34-0, excuse me. At what point do you go and say, we might not even have the starting quarterback on this roster? This doesn't work. None of this works. We need to do something. We got to do it now. The next thing would be, if you're the Patriots, do you go try to get a weapon? Do you go get a wide receiver? Do you go get a tight end? Can you do something? Because this doesn't work, so why do we keep trying to do it? The definition of insanity is doing something over and over and over again and hoping that you get a different result. And that's what the Patriots keep doing. They keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and hope they get a different result. Now they did have a flashy play, it became a turnover. They tried a They put 3 guys they put Mac Jones in the center, they had 3 guys in the backfield. They tried to toss it or kinda shovel it out there to Stevenson and just mistimed, and Jones threw the ball trying to get the back shoulder, threw it too far behind him, became a fumble, Saints recovered. That can't happen. So, this was not a good game. It hurt Patriots fans either. They were booing Mac Jones within the first quarter. They were kinda cheering him when he picked up a first down, and that was it. That can't happen. Now, to the Cowboys side, this game was to prove that you were a top 3, top 4 team in the NFC. I don't know what that was, and I'm gonna curse a little bit. What was that? What was that? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. At what point did you just decide your offense was not gonna try and score points? At what point did you decide that your running game was that bad? At what point did you decide that the offense of line was gonna get beat over and over and over again? At what point were you deciding to throw to CeeDee Lamb? You never threw to him. He had 4 catches for 49 yards. That was it. And one of those, I think you could take out 2 of those catches because he had 1 catch that went for, I think, 15 yards. That was it. He had nothing, and it was a scramble drill. Dak was not good. CeeDee Lamb was not good. Micah Parsons was non-existent. The defense was getting shellacked over and over and over again. At what point, like, you had 1 play. Jordan Lewis, the guy's on his back. McCaffrey is on top of him, and he still continues to go and rip the ball away from McCaffrey, so the Cowboys have the turnover. Finally, okay, we can get some offense. Next thing you know, nope. One of the more positive runs you had in the game in the first quarter, your running back fumbles. It's punched out. That can't happen. The Cowboys spotted the Niners 14 points, and they never got that close again. They couldn't throw the ball, they couldn't run the ball, they couldn't play defense. Aubrey was the best player you had. At what point do you decide, "Okay, enough is enough. We gotta do something?" Which I also did not appreciate the fact that you had injuries to key players. Leighton Vander Esch, he had a neck injury, did not return. The X-rays were negative, so at least that's a good sign. He kinda collided with Micah Parsons. Um, Kevontae Turpin had an ankle injury. Guy lands right on his ankle, did not return. Donovan Wilson had a similar injury, ankle injury, late in the game. Why was he in the game? Made no sense. Why'd they keep putting Dak out there? I don't know why. You weren't going to win, so why keep putting Dak out there? You didn't have a first down until the second quarter. That's embarrassing. You had 6 total yards in the first quarter. That makes no sense. Your team is supposed to be better than that. 6 total yards. You couldn't run the ball, you couldn't pass the ball. Your defense couldn't do anything. 6 penalties. They technically tied the 49ers in penalties, but they didn't. 6 penalties, 3 of them on the first drive. A face mask on the first play, get an offside. You just couldn't get pressure with your front 4. It was all bad. It was all bad. At some point, if you're Dallas, like, no one played good. Nobody. And CeeDee Lamb said it best. We can't look like a super team 1 week and the next week shit the bed. That can't happen. That cannot happen. But we have people on this team there's people on this team that says, "Eh, we're on the same level. We just didn't show it tonight." Obviously you didn't. Obviously we're not on the same level. 42-10 is not the same level. 42-10, that's 32 points. There's 32 teams in the NFL. Out of the 32 teams, you shouldn't be that bad. You gotta be better. You got to be better. If you're Dallas, Where do you go from here? Who do you blame this on? This goes on everybody. It goes on the coach because the team came out flat. It goes on the players because they were unable to execute. But at what point do you go and say, "We can't be this"? It's not like you get the next 4 weeks to figure this out. This is a very difficult schedule. You go the Chargers, you have your bye week, then you play the Rams, then you play the Eagles. You have to find a way to beat the Chargers. You have to find a way to beat the Rams. That's the only way you're gonna keep up with anybody. You have to, because the Eagles are showing that they can beat teams that they are supposed to beat. You can't beat teams that you're supposed to beat. You can't beat teams you have a possibility of beating. That's the problem. So, at what point do you decide we need to show what we are? Are we a finesse team who bullies teams into from going from the ground game to the passing game, which we know they're not good at? Or are we one of those bullies that you stand up to them and they back away and they go crying and telling their parents what happened? That's what's happened. And the Cowboys are the latter at this point. And it's a laughing stock because it's again and again and again. At what point do you fix this? At what point is it a new regime? What is it? Because something has to change. This doesn't work anymore. You can't have people going saying, blaming the media, blaming the end of it, the fans. You can't do that. You have to find a way to be good. CeeDee Lamb said it best, and we'll close with it. I said it earlier. We can't be this inconsistent. We can't be a super team one week and shit the bed another week. I'll say it differently though. You can't be a super team one week and be a fraud super team the next week. For NFL World, I'm Jacob Hubert. Out.